Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Krupa Rao, Assistant Professor at School of Business, Oro University. I take this opportunity to welcome you all to the panel discussion on a very interesting and significant topic, that is Learners to Leaders, Oro X Talk. It is a pleasure to introduce you all with the moderator of the panel discussion, ever vigilant Dr. Monica Suri, Head School of Business, Oro University. We welcome you, ma'am. We are grateful to all our panelists for accepting our invitation. We have with us Ms. Anamika Agarwal, alumni from the batch of BBA 2016-19. She is founder of Cake Caravan. She has been extremely enthusiastic about baking, from baking for her family to celebration for her friends. She decided to turn her passion into her professional journey. We welcome you, Ms. Anamika.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have with us Ms. Mehak Dugar from the batch of 2016-19. She is founder of Mehak Organics. In the ever-changing era of skin-conscious and customized generate, she has always been positive and had keen interest about business opportunities in the same area. We welcome you, Ms. Mehak.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our next speaker is Mr. Kaushal Patel from the batch of MBA 2016-18. He is founder of Swastik Group, a real estate company operating in Surat since past 3 decades. Welcome you, Mr. Patel.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next in panel, we have with us Ms. Komal Jain Kapadia and Mr. Parth Kapadia from the batch of MBA 2016-18. Ms. Komal is co-founder and Mr. Parth is owner and founder at Best Business Consultants, firm that provides the formation of management outsourcing and consulting services to micro and small to medium enterprises and hospitality industry. We welcome you both.
Thank you, ma'am.
Panelist is Mr. Harshesh Chopra from the batch of BBA 2013-16. He is owner and director at Saffron Group of Industries, which was established in the year 1984. Mr. Chopra is associated with the family business since last 3 years. We welcome you, Mr. Chopra.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over to you, ma'am. Yeah, I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes,
Yeah?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you, Dr. Krupa, for setting the pace webinar. I'll just quickly introduce you to the theme which we thought of. We can't think of any other theme better than Learners to Leaders, because I think today we are validating it online, on web, in the form of our worthy students who have made us so proud by excelling in various walks of their life, be it a corporate head or a leader or maybe entrepreneur or a founder of a big company. So that's why we thought of keeping the theme as Learners to Leaders. And your learning started much few years back when you entered Oro University after your 12th standard. And I think that time you tasted the first essence of higher education through Oro University. And it was a proud time for you also to step up in higher education with a very different state of mind, with a very different emotional, physical, mental and vital state of mind. And when you entered Oro University, you know that the vision of Oro University was aligned to integral and transformational approach to learning. And the most important objective was Learners to Leaders, that how we can transform our students as learners in the continuous learning process and journey at Oro University, and finally see them as leaders in future. And I think today you have made our day by being here, and we can see the learners as well. I'll not say that the learning has stopped, because learning should never stop. The day the learning stops, our downfall will also stop. So, but yes, keeping in mind the vision of Oro University, I see that vision getting true today by seeing you all, that you have made us proud, that from learners you have been transformed to wonderful leaders. And with this, I think your juniors and your peer groups are waiting and looking forward to hear from each one of you, your success stories and the challenges that you faced in the beginning of your careers, and how you are excelling in your various streams of businesses. So I'll start from each one of you one by one. And my first question to each one of you would be, just introduce yourself and your company to everyone over here. So it's over to you, Kaushal. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I'm Kaushal Patel, and I belong to Steel. We are in real estate business since past 30 years. It was the company founded by my dad. So I am just handling all the family business. We are in real estate and we build apartments, commercial, shopping malls, etc. So we are operating currently in Surat, and we are also expanding in Bali and Baroda.
Kaushal, and I request all of us to keep our mics mute so that it should not get disturbed in between, because I think there are technical glitches which are coming in between. But anyways, let's unmute mic when your turn will come.
Okay.
And now it's over to Mehak. Mehak, please introduce yourself.
Very good afternoon to Dr. Monica Suri ma'am and Dr. Krupa Rao ma'am, and yes, to all of my fellow panelists. I'm Mehak Duggar, founder of Mehak Organics. It's a skincare brand which is completely natural. I serve from my kitchen. I deliver my product from my kitchen. From my kitchen, I mean all the products, all the ingredients which I use in my soaps and all the beauty products are the things which we intake daily in our diet, which we eat. So through this, I really want, I can sell my product to all the segments of the society, be it men, be it women, be it little kids. And yes, my main motto is to serve so many glows and shines to the entire society with my natural products.
Great vision, Mehak. Now it's over to you, Harshesh. Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Harshesh Chopra, and good afternoon to everyone and all. I'm the owner of Saffron Group of Industries. This is a company that was founded by my father. We deal in lacquered polyester film, metallic yarn and imitation jerry. These are products that apply to all manufacturing industries of textile. And this is a second generation business. I'm the second generation in the business, and the company was founded by my father.
Okay, great. Now, Anamika, it is over to you now. Yeah.
A very good afternoon, Dr. Monica Suri ma'am and my fellow panelists. I'm Anamika Agrawal and the founder of Cake Karma. I started experimenting with various ingredients and recipes for past few years. From baking for family and baking for friends, I decided to turn my passion into my entrepreneurial journey, that is baking. So with my business venture, I aim to provide top quality cakes and desserts to customers, catering to their particular requirements for the best experience. Thank you.
Okay, great, Anamika. Now I'm going back to Komal. Yeah, Komal, it's over to you now. Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, Monica, ma'am, Prabham, and my fellow panelists. So I am Komal Jain, and I'm a pass out of Oro University batch 2016-18, MBA 2016-18. And before joining Best Business Consultants, that is my company co-founded by me, I was working with Global Linen Company, which deals into hospitality products. And later I was working as a digital marketer with City Tarka. And after that is when I joined Best Business Consultants. So we at Best Business Consultants are providers. We are a management firm, and we cater to different kinds of small and medium enterprises. We help them manage their firms. They can outsource a particular department to us, and that is how we manage those particular departments for them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, Komal. Yeah, it's over to you, Pat.
Good afternoon to all the attendees here and the panelists. So I'm sure that a lot of things are already been covered by my wife, that's Komal. And the company Best Business Consultant was founded in 2018 by me. But the idea and the inception of the idea was from 2014, since the time I was doing my bachelor's, or let's say just passed out from my college. So now the Best Business Consultant is basically a management firm. So what we basically do is we outsource, or let's say a lot of companies, they are not able to are not able to manage that particular department, or let's say they want to expand, or let's say something like that. So they outsource that particular department to our company, and then the responsibility and the accountability of that department is fully ours. So and be it any industry, could be into retail, could be into marketing. So Komal has specialized into digital marketing. So me having a good experience from hospitality industry. So let's say if there is a restaurant and if they want to expand, that's get into franchising. So we help them develop franchising model and then explain how the model works, and then try to sell out the franchises too. That's basically pan India. So that's all about my company. Thank you.
Okay, great, Pat, great. So my next question to all of you is, like, I'll start from Kaushal. Kaushal, life at Oro and life post Oro. Just throw some light on your journey. Yeah.
Ma'am, life at Oro was pretty amazing. Actually, I was from engineering background before I joined Oro. So things were new for me. Things like marketing, financial subjects, each and every subject was new for me. So it went pretty well. I learned a lot from Oro because everything was new for me. Everything was new for me. We know the life projects we have done. So they were putting good learning equipment for us. So post Oro, after I came into my business, after college, I directly joined my family business. So post Oro, things were pretty good for me because I had actually got to learn so many things that we didn't actually learn from the classes. We went to on fields, we went to look for things in the outside world while studying for our MBA. So it was very helpful after the college. And post Oro, my life was a little bit simpler because I didn't have to face much challenges because it was a family business. So I had my father who helped me a lot. But yeah, actually Oro was a good experience for me after engineering. So it helped me a lot in finally handling my own business.
Okay, yeah, I know. For every child, the first teacher is their father or mother. So
yes,
I'm sure whatever you acquired from Oro has actually facilitated your further learning from your family business.
Yes, ma'am,
So,
it helped me a lot.
yeah, I can see that, and I see that transformation on your face also, because I think you have learned from so many mentors, and that's the beauty which comes on your face as glow, and the confidence which you all carry. I mean, that's something very highly appreciable.
Yes,
Now, I'll come back to you, Parth. Life at Oro and life post Oro. Post Oro, I know one is the big development that Komal got married and tied knots. And that's the beauty of Oro University, that it gives friends, it gives you good partners, it gives you good mentors throughout your life. So we can see the live example here. Yeah, Parth. Yeah, it's over to you.
As discussed, post Oro is pretty amazing right now, and I have plenty of time amid the lockdown that's happening to spend spend a good amount of time with my wife. But yes, life at Oro has been pretty amazing. So one of the reasons, or let's say the answer, lies with you, ma'am, because you ourselves have seen us at Oro how we were. We were basically we did not knew anything about anything. So we came. So it was a blank slate, and we just entered Oro with expecting nothing. And then by the end of, let's say, 2 years of our MBA course, we were discussing with the professors our business plan. So that's one of the best thing that Oro has done to us, is we just entered without just getting into an MBA course, and by the end of 2 years, we had plenty of business plans that we were discussing with you, Monica ma'am, be it Tanu ma'am, or let's say for that matter, Richa ma'am also. So so that was basically life at Oro. So it transformed us from an ordinary individual to somebody who were basically, I would say, more than ready to face the world. So that's what we are doing right now.
Okay, great, Pat. And Harshesh, it's over to you now. Yeah.
Ma'am, life at Oro was full of group activities and learnings, and I think it somehow helped us open up, because we had activities like going out and doing a presentation on a local company. So I think it taught us how to approach people you don't know, how to do networking, how to use your networks. And after that, I think life post Oro would be, I did my family business course from SP Jain. And majorly, I think it would be knowing the theories and practicality, the difference. That is how to apply those theories that we have learned, which theories and strategies are actually practical for our business and which are not. Because there are many theories which don't look so great on the book, but when you actually apply them in your business, they have great yields. On the other hand, when you have other theories which are very great on books, but when you apply them, you know that they won't work in your particular line of business. So I think that has been a huge change.
Yeah. And what about your business setup and how you are handling it with the learnings that you acquired from? I think you have experience of multiple institutions. One is Oro, another is SP Jain. So how you integrated your learnings and how are you applying the same in your process? Yeah, that will be good if you just share that. Yeah.
Ma'am, most of the thing about business is handling people. Like if you are managing people well, that is the end of doing a good business. If you are managing the customers well, if you are managing our employees well, if you are managing my factory well, everything ends up being perfectly well. And I think the strategies that we learned at Oro and how to practically implement them, that is, we have to do some changes in them. Sometimes specific to your industries, you have to change those strategies in the way that they will work for your particular company. No one knows your company better than you yourself. So I think that is where I think the learnings that we had from Oro were great to be applied in our current businesses.
Okay, thank you, Ashish. Now it's over to you, Mehak. Yeah.
Ma'am, I would say that life at Oro was the most changing part of my life. It was a conversion of my own self from an introvert to an extrovert. Firstly, when I was in school, I was like, I had so much of stage fear. But at Oro, I experienced so many projects, so many, live projects. I had so many group presentations that now if anyone say me that you have to speak in front of 50 or 100, I'm so, it's very easy for me to speak. And like this transformation, especially at Oro, we really learned that how to imply theory into practical life. So not only theories, but how to apply that theory was the major thing I learned from there. And especially, ma'am, I just want to share one thing that I have my business of natural skincare products. So the online base of that particular business, I created that online base in Oro itself in one of my projects given by Tanu ma'am, and where we had to create a page of any business which we are running. So that was very new for me, and today 60 to 70% of my sales are due to this online base. So I'm so grateful for Oro to change me completely. I'm really grateful. And post Oro is I'm currently doing my business and even CFA. And till now, I really, many a times I get help from many of the mentors in my CFA, also in many of the finance things and even marketing things. So basically, it changed my entire life, I would say.
Okay, great, Mehak, great. Yeah, Anamika, it's over to you now.
So, ma'am, life at Oro was just amazing. It was full of studies and assignments, and my life usually revolved around studies, assignments, and grades mostly. I also used to be the part of curricular activities and live events, as rightly said by Mehak. Ma'am, we got a lot of assignments, and which boost my startup business. Like in the module startup and innovation, we started a FMCG product that was healthy fruit juice drink, which helped me to start my baking business. So life after Oro taught me how to imply the theories into the practical business, and which helped me a lot. And thank you.
Great. I'm glad to hear that you are applying it. So now it's over to you, Komal. Yeah. Please unmute your mic. Your mic is
Sorry, I didn't realize. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So Oro was like a breath of fresh air in Surat, because unlike any other universities, this was completely new to Surat. The kind of environment, the kind of people around, the kind of mentors that we had. So that was nothing like we had seen before in Surat or in the previous colleges or schools that we studied. So it was really good Another thing was like Mehak rightly put that, or completely converts you from an introvert to extrovert. I was somebody who would be very conscious of speaking anything, stutter, and I would just completely fabble and fumble seeing so many people in front of me. And with the kind of assignments, the projects, the presentations that, we used to like take 3 days to make a presentation, and by the end of it, 30 minutes and you're done with the presentation. So, it really makes you very, I don't know, like I won't get the right word to it, but then it makes you very aware of what the things are, of how you're supposed to do things. And the same thing goes in the life after Oro, which is you are very much aware of your surroundings. You rightly point out the difficulties, the problems that people are facing, and then you come up with something to sort it out. And that is how even our business plan came up, wherein we wanted to help people who are not being able to give 100% into their business by putting in our expertise in the same. So life at Oro it is because of the life at Oro that we are able to manage our lives after Oro. So yeah, ma'am.
I think that's a great statement you have actually said, but I think that's your love and emotional bonding with your institution and your mentors.
Also, ma'am, I would like to add, sorry, that the approachability that we have to our mentors even today, like it's been more than a year that we passed out of the university, and the kind of connection, the kind of bonds we share with each other and our mentors, and the approachability that whenever we have something, we can approach all of you without having a hiccup, that whether or not we might receive an answer, because it's always heads up. Like if there's any difficulty and if we reach out to you, there's always an answer. So
yeah,
that's the beauty of it, I guess.
Answer to this question is like only good students can transform good teachers, right? So Oro believes in that good students transform good teachers, and this is what you have done with us, and the journey will keep going and learning will also keep going. So now my next important question to you is like, Oro has always given very high importance to behavioral skills and core values that we implement, and we imbibe in us throughout in every walk of our life, be it our actions, be it our words, be it our decision making, be it our style of leadership or problem solving. So I would like to know from each one of you how you are managing the core values at your level when you are dealing with your teams, because that is very important thing, because you cannot survive without your teams at all. I hope you agree with me. So I want to know from you implementation of core values at your level as founders. Yeah, it's over to you, Kaushal.
Actually, I'd like to share an event with by telling you, because the core values which I learned at Oro helped me a lot. Actually, after post-COVID, I just that we have started our offices from 21st. We are facing a problem. Each and every labor wants to go to their homes. They are migrant laborers actually. So in our organization, we deal from daily based laborers to managers and high skilled labor also. So they wanted to go home. So after a lot of talks and everything, and we actually had a lot of work on our heads right now, because it's due to monsoon season. Monsoon is on our head, and we need to complete our projects by then. So actually I talked to each and every laborer of my institution. So while doing that, I learned a lot of things from them also. During that, the self-discipline concept which Oro introduced me was very helpful for me. So I explained them, I learned that what difficulties are they facing. So they just told us some difficulties that they cannot feed their families at home. So we helped them with that also. So this helped me that right now we are the only institute in Surat in real estate that have laborers at their sites, because each and every labor are going to the home right now.
Excellent.
So learning values are very helpful for me, because we have to each and every day we deal with a lot of people, actually from marketing people to our customers, daily wage laborers. So each and every aspect has to be handled carefully, because if we do not take care of our team, so they would actually it's a downfall for our business.
Yeah, true, very true. And this is the time to show gratitude towards them.
Yes,
because whatever way you are going to treat with them today, they will remember it throughout their life. So yeah, Kaushal, you were about to say something.
Yes, ma'am. In a way, we actually think that if we are not treating them well, then actually our homes work on the hard work which they do. Right now, we build buildings because of them. If they are not working, so we can't do anything.
Excellent. So Harshesh, yeah. Kaushal, you want to add something more?
No, ma'am. That's it. Thank you.
So, ma'am,
Okay,
I think we had learned 12 core values during our time at Oro. But I think during a point of time, each and every person appeals to only some of those core values, depending on their short-term, long-term life or business goals. So I think that some core values, specifically talking exactly how Kaushal said, we manage a lot of employees, and we have daily wage laborers because we manage factories as well. So the first issue that we faced is how to deal with them during this COVID-19 situation. And I think that's where the major core value that comes to place is gratitude. And we've had employees whom we don't know if they are going to come back. They are just daily wage laborers. We don't know if they are going back to their cities, they are going to come back or not. But we have taken decisions such as leaving their long-term loans with us and still paying them their full salaries. And that is a trust and risk step that we are taking. But I know that such steps will ensure that those laborers will be loyal to our company for the next 5 to 10 years. They would like to come back to my company itself and not work with my competitors. And I think that is one place that we actually use some core values. And other core values that I think apply to a normal business would be sincerity. That is, we have to be sincere for aspiration and courage.
Okay, great. And I'm glad, Harshesh, that you actually had concern for laborers and your people, because they are the most needy at this point in time during COVID-19. We people are still in comfort zones. We are with the families. But I think if we empathize with them truly, people like you can come forward and, you can actually take good care of them the way you are taking care of. So I'm very glad to hear from you how you are incorporating core values. Now it's over to you, Mehak.
Ma'am, I would say the major thing which I learned from Oro, especially when I was into marketing specialization, is what in any business, always deliver what they want, what the customers want, and not what you want to sell. So my entire business is based on this particular quality of receptiveness, as in I always deliver the product or the ingredients what the girls or other men or kids they want, not what I have to deliver. So I think this is the major thing which I learned in marketing. And yes, ma'am, perseverance. I would say ki, without perseverance, none of the business can be successful. When you don't work for it and you give, you should never give up on it. But you should persevere to work hard towards it. And ma'am, yes, one more core value which is I think is the very important in relationships or in any business, in daily life or in personal life, is honesty. To be honest and to be transparent towards your business, towards your customers, you always get your good customers back and you retain them for a long period of time in your life. And ma'am, one more thing which I would like to share is whenever I make any product, I always make it with love. Like whenever I'm in a good mood, I make that product, so that along with the product, I will give that feeling of love and empathy towards them. So yes, so there were so many values which we learned at Oro, and yes, they are applicable in our personal as well as in our professional lives. So I'm really grateful to Oro for all those values that they taught us.
And I'm so glad that Mehak brought the point of that whatever I do it with love, because maybe wherever there's sincerity, courage, honesty, receptivity. But I think the most important thing is like the things you are doing by heart. That is very important, and that brings you very, So that gives you excellent results, and that will surely take you to perfection. I'm sure when you're doing anything with love, it will surely take you to level of perfection. And then you will never compromise on the quality or any kind of biases or favoritism, or maybe we'll never think of doing anything wrong, your conscience will never allow you to do that.
Yes.
So I can see that reflection in your product which you are making. So I'm sure your customers are lucky customers to use the Mehak products.
Thank you so much.
Okay, fine. So it's over to you, Komal.
Thank you, ma'am. So the 12 core values that we learned at Oro are so applicable to our lives every day. Like every moment, there is something or the other. Every small action that we are doing has some or the other core value aligned to those actions. So as far our business goes, since it is a startup and it's an entrepreneurial adventure, it's an I'm so sorry. It's an entrepreneurial venture. So perseverance, sincerity are the basis or are the basics of the business that we are doing, because it requires any entrepreneurial venture requires you to be constantly on your toes, take bold and courageous steps to move forward, and like we have to acquire clients. So it is very important for us for to ensure that the clients develop and the clients have their trust in us. So it is very important that whatever we are doing, we do it with complete dedication, complete sincerity. Also something generosity. So we always ensure that whatever we are doing, so we make that extra effort with or without the client telling us that to do it or not. So we always ensure that we put in those extra efforts to deliver whatever that we have promised and deliver more than what we have promised. And another thing is to be receptive, since we are into a business wherein ideas come from all the places, and we are always out there solving problems of our clients. So we have to be very open to the kind of suggestions that we receive from our clients, so as to incorporate them and then fulfill whatever we have promised. So yeah, these are the basic core values that we are incorporating in our business.
Okay.
Thank you,
Great,
ma'am.
Komal. So Anamika, it's over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, for the core values which we learned from Oro is really very applicable and rightly said by the panelist members. So, I would like to conclude that my business commitment is the most important value which I have to pursue, because the best quality of cakes and desserts which I give to customer, I believe their success will ultimately determine mine. So innovation is also a new trend in cakes and designs and flavors. And as rightly said by Mehak, that being a marketing student, I have to be very receptive. So I also have a feedback page where customers give me suggestions, and I try to imply that in my business. And safety, sincerity, commitment, perseverance, these are the basic core values which we have to cater in our business, especially the startup business. And I never compromise in quality. So that's it, ma'am.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Parth, it's over to you now.
So as it was rightly put by Komal and Harshesh, that like there were obviously 12 core values that we had learned at the institute, but each and every core value will appeal to us on a particular, let's say, depending upon a particular situation. So, but I think one of the most important that we ourselves have realized, let's say, being a startup or not being a startup, is sincerity. Is sincerity towards yourself, or let's say towards your client, or let's say towards your employees, is very important. And we have been following that since the very first day of our office. But the best part about it is it was taught to us as a student of the Oro University so well that we are able to let's say implement that every day, or let's say in the life of our clients also. So it's easy to take care of your own baby, but not somebody else. So that's how our clients have been trusting us. So the best part about it is our employees themselves have started being very sincere towards it, or let's say giving a situation, or let's say the best time to test their sincerity was during the time of let's say COVID-19 that the entire world is going through. So everybody are willing to, let's say, they know the importance of their employees, and they're willing to pay them the salary without any cut, or let's say so that we ourselves understand the situation. But just coming up with one of the example is basically recently I was supposed to pay one of my employees, and the best part, or let's say the best reply, or let's say the best answer I could have received from him is, he just told me that, sir, I understand that the world is going through a lot. I am not the one who is in need right now, so it's better you give my salary to somebody else. So that's how that was taught to us by our university. But the best part, that, or let's say the least that I could do, is teach somebody else the same thing. So that's pretty much it. So that's one of the core value that I've been.
I'm so glad and honored to hear that you people are actually taking care of it, not only being an ROI, but also as a good human being, as your social and moral responsibility towards the society at large and your own employees who are actually your extended families. So my quick last question, and then there's a surprise rapid fire round for you by one of your junior. But I want to leave you with one last question, which I'm so willing to know from you, each one of you. Your next 5 years plan post-COVID, your 5 years plan. Yeah. As a leader, as an entrepreneur. So it's over to you, Kaushal. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So actually, we are actually doing a lot of research and surveys during this COVID-19 days. So actually, according to our research from the CREDAI National, so we found that there are a lot of people who want to buy their house. So we are going to expand. As first I told in my introduction that we are planning to expand in Baroda and Vapi, and we have already expanded in Vapi. So our next step would be to expand in Baroda. So within the next 5 years, we are actually targeting Gujarat. So we want to not only do business in Surat, we want to expand in the whole state as well.
Okay, great. So Harshesh, your 5 years plan ahead. Yeah.
Ma'am, I think for the next 5 years, we had already, before COVID, we had planned for an expansion, and we were planning to increase our sales and the total managing capacity. So we are going to follow through that, because that is our vision and that has always been a long-term thing. On the other hand, taking the COVID-19 situation under consideration, I think every business will have to invest into something that brings the cash flow in their business for short term. Because for the next 1 year, nothing is going to bring the cash flow. You have to get into essentials, not majorly, but as a side business, or do something such as being a CNF agent for medicines, or something that you can get into to bring the cash flow of your business. Because your major business is not going to help you with the cash flow. It will actually need cash flow to be managed in the next 1 year or post the quarantine.
Yeah. So Mehak, it's over to you now.
Ma'am, seeing the situations right now, I really pray that everything resolves very soon. So ma'am, I know that the hygiene factor has quite increased now. So based on that, I'm working on a special sanitizer, which will really be very reasonable in cost, so that I can target all the segments. Everyone can afford that sanitizer. It would be made of neem and aloe vera, and I would try to use very less of alcohol content in that, or no alcohol content. And I am working on a product of tissue soaps. It would be a very travel friendly thing that all the working women, all men, and even kids, anyone going to school, they can carry those little tissue soaps with them, and it will boost the hygiene factor in the entire economy. I want this idea to be spread in this entire world, and yes, these are the major plans which I can do to the society after this. So I'm currently working on these things, these two products.
Okay, great. And yeah, it's over to you, Komal.
Thank you, ma'am. So ma'am, our major 5 year plans would be: one is to acquire more clients. Second would be to increase the firms under the umbrella Best Business Consultants, and venture into different areas of specialization, like rightly said by Harshesh, that we need to expand into areas wherein the cash flow would be generated for us to operate and further take our businesses to the newer heights that we had initially thought of before COVID-19. So those would be the two things, ma'am.
Great. So Parth, I want to hear something different from you now, because I know you are in the same venture, but
yes, definitely.
your own personal plans with respect to your business venture.
So obviously, we are the Best Business Consultants. So we are going to. So obviously, we had plans pre-COVID-19, but nothing much much have changed, but there are a few things that we have realized is, we need to have a good amount of working capital in hand, because let's say any business you are into, you do consider to take at least 2 or 3 months working capital in hand just to pay the rent, or maybe the electricity bill, or maybe to your employees, or to buy your raw materials. But having realized and hit with COVID-19, we have realized that not just 3 or 4 months, but at least to have a working capital of a year, because we are not pretty much sure when the COVID-19 is let's say going to end, or let's say when the vaccine is going to get developed and get approved by the concerned authority. So that is one of the things. And we have realized that there are a lot of multinational companies. So we were basically based in Surat, and we are based in Surat, and we have been working with a lot of let's say local companies here. But now we are going to tie up with a lot of multinational companies too, because the only ones that have been operating during this time are the multinational companies with a good amount of cash flow. So you always have a work from home option with them. So and the locals are the ones who have been affected the much. And also I'm planning to, let's say my parents are well set in US, so I'm planning to expand my operations there too. They are from the hospitality industry in US. So it's the 5-year plan that we have, and just not getting the best business consultant, but making it best group of companies. So that's the future 5-year plan.
Great. So now, before I hand over the session to your junior, Harshal, I would like to give you blessings from our Honorable Founder President Shri H.P. Rama Sir, who is watching us live from US. I told you there's a lot of time gap between India and US, but still he was so keen to see you and to listen to all of you for your own progress and your transformation. And I'm sure he's feeling proud from there, right from US. And after seeing you, I think he's much confident about the vision and the learnings that you have acquired at Oro University, and seeing it getting fulfilled in reality. So now my session, I'm going to pass it on to Harshal. Harshal, are you online?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So it's over to you, Harshal. Yeah.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are doing completely well. And when I was given this opportunity that I'm gonna be able to talk to my seniors, I was super stoked. And trust me, because you are coming from all diverse backgrounds, and listening to you guys was completely inspiring. So I think it's time to lighten up the moment, and we have had a lot of enough formal thing. So I have set a few questions that you need to answer, but you have to keep one thing in mind, that all you need to do is you have to answer that question within 10 seconds. Like 10 seconds is mark. That you cannot.
He's giving you deadline
so just
like faculty,
So then we try to as quick as possible. Okay. So we'll start the questions. Basically the question of 2 rounds. The first round has 2 questions, and the second round also has 2 questions. So we'll start with the first round and first question. We'll start with Harshish. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Absolutely. Okay. So you have to share a moment of embarrassment or pride from university days.
Embarrassment and pride.
Right, yeah. Embarrassment or pride, it can be anything.
Okay, so I wore a red shirt to Achla's ma'am presentation, and I think she called me Chinese for that. So I think that was a moment of embarrassment for me.
All right.
And
and you have something?
I think a moment of would be when our presentations would go good in groups, and that would be a moment of pride.
All right. Moving forward to Mehak. Mehak, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so the same questions for you. A moment of embarrassment or pride from university days?
Okay. A moment of embarrassment can be when I was in a presentation and I just prepared for it, and when I started, I was completely blank to start, and everyone was watching at me. Everyone was looking at me with that look, and that I can say the most embarrassing moment at Oro University. And yes, a moment of pride was when we were awarded that shield of learners to leaders from Oro University. I think going to that stage and receiving that after 3 years of hard work was a moment of pride for me.
All right. Moving forward to Anamika.
Okay, so the moment of embarrassment would be like there was a presentation going on in the sociology class, and where ma'am asked me about, like, I just can't share that thing. It's
okay. Just think that there's nobody except us, just alumni and the current year student. That's it.
But
no teacher.
Now, so like ma'am asked me twice. I said yeah. The case they were doing in the public place. So ma'am asked me twice, Anamika, are you in your senses? Like, what are you saying? I said, yes ma'am, they did it. So I was like, it just happened. And the pride moment for me is like, I like the assignments. I always used to get good grades on it, and that was a proud moment for me.
So yeah, I think you're completely opposite to me in the moment when it comes to pride. Moving forward, Parth, can we hear your experience, please?
Yes, Harshal. So I would say, I never imagined myself doing a college play. It was a Nukkad Natak that I'm sure Kaushal and Komal do remember that. So, I put in front of, let's say, it was kind of an annual day. So a Nukkad Natak is something, and I was way too, okay, listen, I got to do this. And I think the moment of pride has to be the convocation. I mean, you just, it's just, I would say, a microsecond that you're on the stage receiving your degree, and it's let's say 2 or 3 years or whatever time that you're spending in your college just goes by, and you realize that obviously you had a good time and you have learned also a lot. So that's a moment of pride, because there are a lot of, and obviously meeting your parents and they knowing that you have achieved something, and it matters to them a lot. So that's the moment of pride.
Perfect.
Yes, thanks, Harshal. So a moment of embarrassment would be in one of the presentations by Richa ma'am. She used to take us stats class, and we had to present some data. And since it was statistics and doing a presentation on same, you always have to have a lot of numbers and everything in mind.
Yeah.
And I completely baffled the presentation. Also, it's like, it's a confession more than embarrassment that I had completely flunked that particular presentation, and I had also, just managed to put it overnight from just, gathering all the data from here and there. So I had completely no clue of what I was speaking. So, and also later that Richa ma'am figured it out. So that was more than embarrassing. And a moment of pride would be that last year, during the orientation for the current batch, Monica ma'am had called us over to speak to them and have a similar discussion on learners to leaders and how we had achieved. So yeah, that was a moment of pride, because sitting on the other side of the table, not amongst the students but with our faculty. So yeah, that was a moment of pride.
All right, thank you very much. Kaushal?
Yes, Harshal, thank you. First, the moment of embarrassment was Parth would remember it. I was giving a presentation in my class. The faculty was facing me, and all my friends were dancing around behind. So
that still happens. Trust me, that still happens.
Yes, and the moment of pride was that we did a project, Ola and Uber project. It was a live case study, and Monica used to go each and every class of the college and used to praise us. That was a moment of pride for me.
All right. Moving onward to next question. How value-based learning from Oro is keeping your mental and emotional health stable? This is a really tough time for everybody. So I'm sure that, even if not every one of us, majorly of us have been suffering. So how value-based learning from Oro is helping you to be stable? We'll start with Harshesh.
So I think value-based learning, we had some particular subject which was regarding spirituality.
Yeah, science of living.
I think, yes, kind of boring then. But yeah, today, if we, during these times, the 40 days that we have only with ourselves, I think there is one particular core value that we have never thought of giving our busy schedules is peace. That is, we have never got time to be at peace with ourselves. So I think the COVID situation has given us a lot of time to follow up on that.
Okay. Mehak?
I think the value which I am following is the value of gratitude. That we don't know when situations would change. We don't know when people will be with us or not. So I think we should always follow this value of gratitude, being thankful to everyone around us, being loving and being kind. So I think we should follow this every day because we don't know when situations change, and that's all. The thing of thankfulness and gratitude.
Absolutely. Anamika?
So me, yes, like gratitude. Like you never know what the situation may be, but you should have that giving nature in you. Sometimes being an entrepreneur, hello, am I audible?
Yes, your voice was quite breaking, but yeah, you are.
Okay. Sorry. Actually, being an entrepreneur, I do mistakes in life. I do mistakes in baking or something, but I always get some feedbacks from customers. It's like a great moment for me. So it's like, yeah, gratitude. So Thanksgiving. That's all.
Parth, would you like to share something?
Definitely. So I would say that all the core values are in play right now. I mean, you need to be sincere with yourself because everything is right. You need the humanity side of you. There is a lot of gratitude. There is a lot of patience right now. So I would say everything is in play. I mean, you just can't pinpoint one thing. And like combining all those values that we have been learning is helping us just going through. Let's say passing by this phase. That's the only thing that we could do is hope. That this ends soon, and everybody, and let's say our close and dear and like all the people around us are safe and healthy. So I mean, it's like everybody has stopped thinking about their work, their business, whatever it is, and just trying to end this thing. It's not like somebody is fighting alone. It's everybody's battle right now with themselves and let's say COVID-19.
Moving forward, Komal.
Yes, Harshal. So I would say that in this time of COVID-19, what we have is immense sense of gratitude for everybody around us, be it the ones who are working for us, or be it the ones these everybody, like each and every person who's going through this. So immense sense of gratitude for all of them. Equality in terms of since we are all of us are in this together. So there's nothing like somebody is being affected. Definitely, everybody is being affected in their own different ways and everything. And we are more than lucky to be having what we have right now and enjoying. For us, it's more like a sense of enjoyment being with our families. But then for others, it's definitely a struggle and a fight to put on. So treating all of those equally, and just helping them in each and every possible way that we can. So a lot of goodness, a lot of gratitude, a lot of peace, having a peace of mind, very important in these times. Do not like go and break out every other time. So just keeping all our sane together, and so all of these.